One Piece chapter 1144 titled Warrior Time, obviously referring to the two greatest warriors on Elbaf, that is Dory and Brogy, that show up in the nick of time at the end of the chapter to save the village from Nidhogg and Ghost, monsters that were created by Killingham's powers. But hey, if you wanna know my thoughts about that, keep watching until the end of the video, hit like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So, the chapter starts off with Ripley and Frankie standing outside one of the weirdest facilities in the One Piece verse. Ripley thought it makes sense to bring a cyborg to the robot-looking tree. It looks as though it has been there for centuries, maybe even since the Void Century, or even earlier than that. Honestly, it looks like a lab of some sorts, and unironically, they find Vegapunk there. Cause you know, Vegapunk is now a robot since his original body died last arc, so it makes sense. So, this is probably the funniest part of the chapter. Vegapunk is with Bonnie. They got lost and happened to stumble upon this place. Here Frankie has one of the funniest lines, because in his mind, getting lost is for sword-fighting idiots. Zoro. But Frankie is absolutely astonished. He's like, wow, even genius is gonna get lost. Whoa, I thought it was only a Zoro feat. What's going on here? Vegapunk says something very interesting. He or she says, because it's a he, but in a body of a she. Yeah. You know, One Piece stuff, you know, it's regular nowadays. So Yamato and now Vegapunk. It is what it is, okay? So, we refer to Vegapunk as a he because in his mind is a he, so whatever. Okay, so Vegapunk says that the tree is so incredible that it has to be over 3,000 years old. Now, if you don't remember last arc, let me remind you. Last arc clarified for us that the past is the future in One Piece. Back in the Void Century and before that, they had some incredible technology that has now gone extinct with Egghead's destruction. Vegapunk knows a lot about that time, but not nearly as much as he wishes. He's basically estimating that the tree is 2,200 years old before the Void Century. Now, in the timeline of Elbaf's mural, where does 3,000 years lie? Or is 3,000 years ago part of the first world? Maybe 3,000 years ago was before the three worlds. Ripley says not even the people of Elbaf knows how old this thing is and what it actually is. In the midst of all that, they get attacked by a storm monster. Like, what? A storm monster that looks like Zeus and has lightning powers. Please, guys, you gotta fight it. Come on. We want to see every single Straw Hat this arc get in some action. But one thing is for sure. They got to be careful not to damage that robot tree. Please. I want to know what the heck that is. I want to know what that facility holds. So back to the western village where the party was at, the attack is continuing. It's the skeleton monster of last chapter and it's called Drog. Now a casual One Piece reader would just think that these are monsters, they could probably take them out easily. Entire giant squads are being taken out. Do not take this threat lightly. Dory and Brogy are nowhere to be seen. They just ran off to the toilet being so drunk from the party and everybody's in full panic mode. They trying to sober up and get a hold of something to fight with, find some swords, find some shields, something. And as I told you a couple of chapters ago, as the Elbaf arc keeps escalating, the time when Colin goes to battle and does something major will come. Oda clearly shows that Colin's ready for the fight and he's not afraid to go out there. We of course don't see him in action just yet because he's just a kid, and as long as the grown-ups still stand, the kids got to hide. So we cut to Nami's group and she tells Ja Rules about the intruders from earlier. But think about it here guys, Shamrock and Gunko are the only ones that they know about. Little did they know that two other scary dudes came in and Shamrock dipped out back to Marie Joie. They will now alarm every single one of the villages on Elbaf. And here is what's interesting. So they alarm every village on Elbaf, but not a single one of them mentioned the heaven world. They mentioned a lot about the underworld, a lot about the sun world. We did not get even one single thing about the heaven world. Just only the fact that it's named the heaven world and it's located on top of the Adam tree. Now Oda, come on, how long are you gonna keep teasing us about the heaven world? I mean, that's the part of Elbaf we know the least about. Are there giants over there? Giants like giant sky folk over there? Do they agree with how the Elbaf giants lived their life? Some people are theorizing that ultimately the heaven world will be the escape for the Straw Hats this arc. We don't know yet. Later on, after the conversation with Ja Rule, Usopp had a very interesting thought. What are these intruders gonna do after they get the kids? Are they bringing the children to Marie Joie to maybe, I don't know, maybe somehow wipe their memory off and use them as weapons basically? What are they gonna do with the giants here on Elbaf? I have no idea. Anyway, Nami, Usopp and Jinbei decide to do the most logical thing. Of course, with Usopp's command. I don't know why Usopp was taking the command there, but we go with it. With Usopp's command, they finally get ready to go after the ones who did this to the children. They have to make them pay. Nobody touches children here. Come on, except for Saul. Saul is a bit weird one. He tried to save them, but he still tried to I'm kidding. Okay, we move on. But before that, it would be very hard for them to travel in Elbaf because, you know, it's a giant country. Giants have long way to travel there. What about humans? It would take them days upon days. So, look where the cat dragged in. Colin did not listen to his elders, but Colin meets Nami, Usopp and Jinbei. Says, come on board my ship. Okay, you can take the steering wheel, but I'm the captain. Let's go, set sail! He gives me a lot of Luffy vibes, by the way. So, as I told you, it seems like Saul learned his lesson not to touch the kids and, I don't know, find some sort of, shield to maybe put them aside with it or something to snap them out of whatever they are in. He's failing. He's trying over and over and over again and he keeps failing. He tries to pull them back with his hands, fails last chapter. He tries to grab them with the shields, fails. He tries to grab them now one by one with a whip to drag them physically out of the path they're following. And when you're rooting for him and that plan actually sounds doable, a monster shows up. And that monster is none other than Fenrir, the scary dragon crocodile looking motherfucker. But here we go. Here is what I'm excited about. Please, Oda, please, I beg you, let Robin and Chopper have their freaking moment. I want to see them step in and go ham on that beast, bro. I want to see them in action. Cutting back to the western part of the village, the Elbaf giants managed to beat Drog, but it took a lot out of them. When Nidhogg and Ghost showed up, all hope seems lost. That is until my brother Dory and Broggy showed up with a magnificent attack, the so-called Hakoku. Let's go. What a beautiful attack on the monster, and it goes down. I don't know if the other monster, if Nidhogg or Ghost. No, it was Nidhogg that got down. Ghost is still intact, I think. We're gonna have to see what they do about it next chapter. But they were with a man, with a very special man, the so-called left hand of the Pirate King, Scopper Gaban. Now, the giant warrior pirates and these two, Dory and Broggy, have established themselves. They are no longer weaklings in the eyes of Minya and the rest of the One Piece fanbase. Just because they got captured by Mr. 3 like some 20 years ago doesn't mean that they are trash. We gotta bow down to that One Piece agenda. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hit like, subscribe to the channel and press the bell button to get notified when we upload our reactions for Black Clover, solo leveling and everything else. Hope you enjoyed once again, and Haki Review out.